All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Anthony Ansaldi. I have the great fortune of being your town administrator here for this wonderful day, a day that's been much anticipated. I was fortunate to be here as the assistant and seeing the planning and what went into making a day like today possible. Now I have the greater was fortune of being here as the town administrator when today they'll get the opportunity to cut the ribbon and open this beautiful facility that the residents of Littleton are going to enjoy for the years to come. So our first speaker, thank you. So our first speaker is the president of the Friends of the Reuben Hoar Library, Krystofik.
I'm so glad I have a fan club. Good morning. I'm humbled to be able to speak on behalf of everyone who has worked so hard to put this library together over so many years. I know that the trustees started fundraising way back in 2009, and from then on, we've been on the path to building and making this a new home for our wonderful library. The Friends of the Reuben Hoar Library are so grateful to so many of the volunteers who helped this happen. We depend on our volunteers for their time and talents to help us run our fundraisers. We fund the museum passes, the summer reading program costs, some extra items that are out of our budget, like the book scanner to help with local history. And whenever we put out a call for help, we get it from so many people and groups in the community, from Girl Scouts, High School National Honor Society, Humanitarian Club volunteers, the craft makers for the Holiday Bazaar, and our cookie bakers. And we have so many eager cookie makers. It's wonderful. Our book sales wouldn't be possible without so many helping hands. They sort the books, help with the sale, and so many community members are willing to step up for the library. In 2016, the trustees and the Friends came together to raise money for the new library building, and the theme for the campaign was Building Community 01460. We asked for donations, and 489 local residents and businesses stepped up and said yes. We held fundraisers like mini golf in the library. A group of young readers created a summer readathon and gathered pledges to contribute to the building fund. The library is so important to our youth, and they came up with a plan to help us, to make a contribution to something that was very important to them. All in all, we reached and surpassed our goal of $1 million to defray the cost to the Littleton taxpayers. I want to acknowledge and thank every volunteer who helped us build our library, from town officials to trustees and friends to our fundraising volunteers at every event we've held. We did this together with community spirit. I thank you.
Thank you, Kathy, and thank you to the Friends. That's amazing what you guys did on raising that kind of money. Our next speaker is the CEO of Commodore Builders, Joe Albanese.
Thank you so much. I'm really pleased to be here on this beautiful day. It's clear the summer's over, but we need more days like this for sure. I'm happy to be here for a lot of reasons. This is a building that I'm so proud of. It gave me a little bit of a chill when I saw the inscription inside on the placard, and these are, the kinds of moments as the owner of a construction company that really remind me why our industry is such a great industry. We work hard, but we leave something behind that's lasting, that's enduring. And what's particularly important is when we have projects that have great purpose. Projects that do help to build communities. And it's clear with all the people that have come up for this, and with the understanding of all the people that have worked so hard for now more than 11 years to make this a reality, how important this is to build the part of the community and really to shape the future of so many people in this town of Littleton. We have a commitment here from labor, from our subcontractors and tradespeople that we have to acknowledge. They're the people that put this together. They're the people whose hands really touched every part of this, and their craftsmanship and their commitment were really important. I want to thank the leadership from the town of Littleton, the OPM, Vertex, and the architect Johnson Roberts, because a team here is important. It's important to collaborate, it's important to be aligned, and it's important to really shape this common purpose. Right from the start of project pre-construction and through completion, there was a natural collaborative spirit and true partnership throughout the entire project team, and really led by the Littleton community. And that's always really important, and it makes the project better, more enjoyable, and our people spend the better part of their waking hours every day for months and even years sometimes on these projects. Some of our people don't want to leave here. They like the baked goods, the cookies, all of really the hospitality of this great town of Littleton. And I'm actually looking around to see what else does Littleton need that we can do, private or public. My hope is that we can come back. Sen Blankenship, our project manager and a leader of a Cambridge Cub Scout pack, actually helped the Scouts of Littleton Troop 19 and 20 earn their sustainability and architect merit badges by touring the site and learning about green building practices and modern construction materials. Again, part of the community element of this project that makes it so important. This project was also one of our first projects to be recognized as caught being safe, a distinguished recognition that we give our teams to embrace and enforce safety. And this includes the safety efforts not only of Commodore, but of Vertex and Johnson and Roberts and Littleton. And I want to thank everybody for being committed to safety and for ensuring that we had a project here, with no accidents or injuries. Project teams and contractors come and go. And as I mentioned, the buildings we build endure over time. Congratulations to the town of Littleton and their vision for the Reuben Hoar Library, and thank you all for allowing us to deliver to you and your community.
Thank you, Joe, and you really delivered a great product here that I know our residents can't wait to get inside and see. Next speaker represents the Select Board, and that's our Vice Chair, Paul Glavey.
Good morning. I'm filling in this morning for our chair, Chuck DeCoste, who was hoping to be here and unfortunately had been called away. Although I would like to acknowledge a couple of my colleagues who joined me in celebrating this wonderful accomplishment for the town, Matthew Nordhaus and Joe Knox, who are both here. And our fifth colleague, Cindy Napoli, must have a tougher job than the rest of us because she had to work today and wasn't able to join us. But we all are unanimous, and what a wonderful step forward for Littleton this is. I, like my colleague Joe, been around town long enough that I can remember the old Reuben Hoar Library when it was in the Houghton building, and hard as it may seem in this day and age, in the 60s and 70s, what passed for excitement in Littleton was going down to the library on a Friday night and meeting your friends to chat or catch up on things. So it's kind of strange that in this day and age, some of the arguments against, is there a need to go forward with big libraries in this day and age? But there's so many other sources of information, computers and phones, and does anybody really need it, especially with all those other resources? And of course, the quick answer to that is yes, of course we do. As a community resource, it's odd that the argument should even have needed to be made, but I'll tell you, everybody, I trust me, you give yourself a couple of years' time and you're going to find a reason why you're going to want to come in here, other than the simple fact that once you see it from the inside, you're going to want to be in there. One small example for myself over the past year, I've found the need to consult a newspaper, a trade newspaper called Banker and Tradesman. I said, oh, that's great. I'll just get a subscription to that because I need to stay up on the construction industry for a variety of reasons. Well, the subscription price was $300 to $400, and I wasn't going to pay that. However, our library has it, so you can come in and read it for free, as I do. And I also get a subscription to the Weekend Wall Street Journal, which is wonderful when it arrives on my doorstep 2 out of 3 weeks, but on the third week when it invariably doesn't, then I have to come back here to the library and check that out. And every time I come in, I find people with very different stories from different parts of town that all have a reason to be here or a choice to be here. And it all helps to create that glue or that fabric that creates community. And that's really why a library is not an extra for a town or an extravagance. It's a core of being part of the community. And to that end, the select board and the various offices that work under us or with us, we're happy to have played our part, although we recognize the library commissioners and the engineers, architects have driven this project from the beginning and done a wonderful job with it. But in project management, I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to our building, obviously our OPM, but also our building committee, and Steve Moore is here representing the town. Tell you, I don't know how many projects you've had the opportunity to be intimately involved with, such as this, but they never arrive this close to being on time and on budget, especially during a pandemic, which it would be easy to foresee that we'd be a year away from today before we saw this happen, and yet here we are. So, I mean, that doesn't happen by accident. That's the hard work of a lot of good people, so they all deserve our applause on that. And I'll just make one other shout out to a member of our team, the role we played as this project came up on our radar. It wasn't as I would have expected, unanimously embraced by everybody as a core need function of the town. But one way to make it that way was to make sure that the financing for this project reflected that it was one of our core missions in town. So, I sat down with, at the time, our assistant town administrator, who was in his first go-around with the town of Littleton, Anthony Ansaldi, and we came up with financing plan that fortunately passed muster with the various bodies in town, so that we're able to finance this project, or the town's portion of it anyway, under the levy limit within our debt schedule. So we're kind of happy about that. The townspeople of Littleton certainly are paying for this project, but they're paying for it with their first tax bill, not with any additional taxes. So that's an accomplishment too. And with that, I would just say that thank you to the commissioners, and look forward to stepping inside again and seeing the finished product.
Thank you, Paul. Our next speaker is from the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners, Karen Traub.
Good morning. What a beautiful day it is here for the people of Littleton. On behalf of the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners, I offer a hearty congratulations to you on your new library. You did it by the will of the people, and in the middle of a pandemic, you built a library. To every person who gave their time, talent, and treasure, let it be known that what you've created here is an extraordinary accomplishment. A library is a living force for education and culture. UNESCO calls the library an agent for the fostering of peace and spiritual welfare through the minds of men and women. There are so many people to thank, starting with Library Director Sam Alvarez, the trustees, the friends, all of the town departments who were key to the success of this project. The almost 500 individuals and businesses who contributed, and the fundraising committee that exceeded their goal of raising over $1 million. And I want to give a special thank you to every library employee who brought us to this day through construction, through the move, and, oh yes, through a pandemic. On July 9th, 2020, at the groundbreaking ceremony, Sam Alvarez said that the new library will be the spirit of Littleton and be able to serve all its residents. This new building features a much larger children's room, a dedicated young adult area, community meeting spaces for gathering, and plenty of room for quiet study. It will be more flexible and energy efficient, receiving LEED certification, and most important, it will be accessible to everyone. We at the MBLC are pleased to provide over $5.8 million of funding for this project through the Massachusetts Public Library Construction Program. Since 1990, this program has helped over 250 cities and towns in the planning, design, construction, and/or renovation or expansion of their libraries. It's an outstanding program and a national leader, and it is key to helping many of our beloved older libraries like the Reuben Hoar into the 21st century. Funding for the program is authorized by the governor and the legislature, so please thank your legislators for funding this project and ask them to continue to fund our libraries. The first laws to protect libraries were established in 1798 with the ideal of free and equal access to information for everyone, because a healthy democracy depends on an informed voting public. In the digital age, sometimes it's hard to know fact from fiction, and libraries are curators of reliable sources of information. Your new library provides access not just to the items in your own collection, but to millions of books, databases, ebooks, audiobooks, music, films, and so much more. Libraries provide lifelong education and enrichment. Opportunities for learning while having fun have just multiplied in Littleton. In 1971, in Troy, Michigan, a new library was constructed. At that time, Isaac Asimov, the science fiction author, wrote, "Congratulations on your new library, because it isn't just a library, it's a spaceship that will take you to the farthest reaches of the universe, a time machine that will take you to the far past and the far future, a teacher who knows more than any living human being, a friend that will amuse and console you, and most of all, a gateway to a happier and more useful life." Once again, on behalf of the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners and library consultants who are here today, Lauren Stara and Andrea Bonabunker, I congratulate you, the fine people of Littleton. Enjoy your new spaceship. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Traub, and certainly thank you to the Mass Board of Library Commissioners for the grant which made this building possible. Our next speaker is the current chair of the Board of Library Trustees, Katrina Wilcox Hagberg.
Hi, everyone. So 16 months ago, we gathered for the groundbreaking ceremony, and today's weather is a little bit nicer. On that day, I thought about all the long hours of work that had gone into the planning and preparation, about the necessary grant writing, advocacy, and fundraising efforts that we had already completed. I thought about all the construction work that lay ahead of us. I had a vision for what this new building would look like once it was complete. But more importantly, I imagined the faces of patrons, staff, and community members, the look on your faces when the doors opened and we walked inside for the first time. Today is that realization of our long-term vision for our library and our community. So we are gathered to celebrate the next chapter of the Reuben Hoar Library. Public libraries are the living room of a community, a place where new parents form friendships, where seniors can catch up on the daily news, a place where where students socialize in a safe place after school, where children first discover a love of reading and learning, where every day our caring librarians make a difference in patrons' lives. Today, we are not only celebrating the opening of our new library building, we're also celebrating the community that created it and that will breathe life into it. We are grateful for the endless hours of time put in by our past and current trustees during roundtable discussions, grant writing, information sessions, and many board meetings. We would also like to extend our sincere appreciation for the Friends of the Library, for their advocacy, financial support, and for organizing fun events like Library Mini Golf. We hope to bring that back. We are grateful for the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners who granted us a grant of $5.8 million to the town of Littleton. This new library would not be possible without this generous support. Throughout the project, it has been a pleasure to collaborate with the companies that comprise the project team. Phil O'Brien at Johnson Roberts has been with us from the start and is responsible for the design of this beautiful building. Commodore Builders have been a pleasure to work with through the construction process. Ryan Fours of Vertex has been available at all hours to oversee the project, for which we are extremely grateful, especially in this last week. I think we can all see that the theme of the day is community, and we would not be here today without the tremendous support of our community. We appreciate all of the boards and officials who have supported this project, including the Littleton Permanent Municipal Building Committee, Planning Board, Disability Commission, Finance Committee, and Select Board. A special thanks to former Town Treasurer Steve Venuti for the hours he spent helping us work through the financials for the building. We are thankful for the town administration and the town departments and LCTV who made today's opening possible and this ribbon cutting ceremony possible and is filming it for everyone. And we are grateful for the Littleton Town Meeting voters and those who provided their generous financial support for this project. We are also thankful for Jamie Eldridge and Jim Asiero for their continued support of this project, in particular for helping securing funding for the solar panels that are yet to be installed. The new Reuben Hoar Library has been a true collective community effort. Finally, we would like to thank all the library staff who have been integral to the design, and their spirit really fills the building. And most recently, they've put in a lot of hard work to make today possible. They pour their energy into making the Reuben Hoar Library an inviting and dynamic community destination, and I look forward to see what they can do with this building. So today we are honored to open our doors to the new Reuben Hoar Library. The library is one of the few free and accessible places in town where residents of all ages come together. Reuben Hoar Library's value as a public gathering spot is key to building and maintaining important community connections, and as I said earlier, the fabric of our community. May this building provide a place where we can learn, discover, and gather now and for many years ahead.
Thank you, Katrina, to you and the library trustees for your leadership. Our second to last speaker today is going to be the person who's going to have the great fortune of running this library, our director, Sam Alvarez.
Thank you, Anthony. I can't believe this moment has finally come. This new building is a culmination of many years of work by many people. It's amazing to see our new, beautiful new library a reality. I wasn't always sure it was going to happen, and I'm very grateful to the people that made it possible. I want to thank the library trustees for all the late night meetings, the support you gave me, and the faith you put in me when I was a young director, just starting out. I realized this morning that my 7-year anniversary is actually next week on November 12th. I had no idea 7 years ago where this would go. And when you tasked me with applying for the Mass Board of Massachusetts Public Library Construction Grant, you were always there with advice, support, and strength during the hard times. To the Select Board and Town Administrator Anthony Ansaldi and Assistant Town Administrator Joe Layden, I want to thank you for challenging us to do right by the community I know you care so much about. I thank the Mass Board of Library Commissioners for the financial support through a $5.8 million grant that helped make this possible, and especially to Lauren and Andrea at MBLC for all your advice. To Steve and the PNBC for your guidance, and all the town boards and committees that were part of this process during the way. I want to thank Al and Phil at Commodore and the many contractors and builders for all your hard work to build our new building. To our OPM Brian, thanks for always being there and managing this project and its many moving parts. And to Phil and Natalie at Johnson Roberts, thank you for your beautiful design and support at town meetings and various information sessions. I want to thank all the town departments for all the help you gave us, especially Nancy and Tom and George and Kirby and Mark for everything. Ed. Oh yeah, Ed's on here. To Sarah and Kathy and all the friends of the library, your support means the world to us. You help plan events, raise funds, and raise our morale through your positivity. You volunteered your time and energy when you didn't have to, and we're eternally grateful. And finally, to my staff, Jenna, Jen, Atsko, Julie B, Julie F, Tracy, Jeff, Cheryl, Amy, for being on the front lines at the CERT desk, for Jean and Diane for working all the work you do in the children's department, and to Andy, even though you don't work with us anymore, it's Susan and Helen. Thanks for all your support you gave me through, and you're always there to stand in for me when I needed help, or if I was out working on a meeting or at a project, or just to talk. To you and all the other staff that no longer work with us but are still part of our family, I thank you. We had a home in our old library. Even though it definitely had its issues, you always made it work because you believe the library is more than just brick and stone and glass and cement. You realize that we're lucky to get to work together every day, where there is a story or a fact to be learned on every shelf, an adventure on every children's storybook or YA novel, fun to be had through every library program, and a community that loves and supports us and understands our worth just as much as we understand theirs. We wanted a new library not just for us, but for the community that gave us so much. Finally, to our patrons, we thank you. The building would not exist if it were not for your support. The library stands here now because you believed in what a library means to a community. We're a place to learn new information, spark ideas, build yourself up, and meet new friends. We're a safe place for your teens to hang out and read and just be weird. You take us on adventures when you check out our mobile hotspots or telescopes to go camping. We're with you when your child learns how to read for the first time, and when you gather around a library table to do a puzzle, and so many other countless things. Now you've given us the gift of the new building, and we're excited to continue this journey and go on all the new adventures this beautiful building will bring. Albert Einstein once said, the only thing you absolutely have to know is the location of the library. So I hope you find your way. Thank you.
So Senator Eldridge couldn't be here today, but Immaculate McComb from his office is here for a citation to present to Sam, Katrina.
Good morning, everybody. As he mentioned, the senator isn't here today, but wish that he could. But I'm very excited to be here on his behalf as his environmental policy advisor. I got some opportunities to help out with securing the funding for the solar that will be coming on the roof. So excited to come back when that happens as well. But here to present the citation. It just simply says, be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to the town of Littleton in recognition of the momentous occasion of the grand opening of the Reuben Hoar Library.
Thank you, Immaculate, and thank you, Senator Eldridge, for that wonderful citation. So, there's only about 20 more speakers. So is everybody ready now to see your new building, Littleton? All right. So who has that great honor of cutting that ribbon and letting all these residents see this hard work and beautiful building that they have for years to come? Are you ready, Mark?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3. All right, residents, your new library.